Hi, this is Kerry Artak with Wicked Stocks bringing you the daily Apple report for Thursday, September 7th, 2023. Before we click through the charts, just want to encourage you to please click like if you haven't already. Subscribe to the Wicked Stocks YouTube channel. Please share the content, if you would, with friends and colleagues. And check out wickedstocks.com, where we offer a full suite of both daily and weekly analytical videos, just like the daily Apple report, daily analysis in the SPY and the Triple Q, weekly analysis in the S&P 500, NASDAQ 100, and the long bond ETF, the TLT, as well as two individual stock picks a week that you never see on YouTube that cater to the 3 to 5 week swing trader out to the 3 to 5 month near-term investor, always looking for 20% swings on those underlying stocks. In fact, just on Wednesday, we put out an analysis on IBM. It's testing presently a decade-long channel formation that may offer a directional indication as we move well into next year. So you can see all this with our 5-day free trial. You sign up for wickedstocks.com. You've got 5 full days to check everything out, including Wednesday's IBM stock pick. If you don't like what you see, after 5 days, you can bail out at no cost to you whatsoever by canceling your subscription at no cost. So let's jump into the charts. Take a look at this weekly chart of Apple going back, some 5-6 years. We settled back in May above this 168.33 long-term channel top. This is a weekly chart. And in the process, a show of long-term strength that is anticipated to yield a 226.21 long-term channel top in the months ahead. You might even say in the quarters ahead. I don't expect to see this by the end of the year anymore as I once was a couple of months ago, but I do think, by the end of Q2 next year is certainly feasible, or even sooner. And I'll get to that all in just a moment. But we had a big sell-off on Thursday. Is that right? No, on Wednesday. And we settled below a couple of key formations, 186.23, which I've now reduced to just an intraday resistance level. I'll get to that in a moment. And 184.28. This descending speed line was considered a meaningful buy signal into later September when we closed above it a week ago. Now that we've closed below it, this market can unravel back into the upper 160s over the next several weeks. That is the threat right now, and that is actually the play right now. So if you went long over the last week or so when we closed above these structures, you may consider liquidating that long position. You probably should, because I think the threat is to the downside now, back into the upper 160s. I don't know if we will see 168, well, it's a 168.50 on that chart, but it's actually really 168.33, FYI. It wasn't updated. 168.33. I can't but anticipate that possibility. In other words, the path of least resistance presently appears to be to the downside. So 184.28, our ceiling of resistance, we're just below it, able to contain buying through next week, and below which we might by the end of next week, although I think 2 to 3 weeks is likely, fall all the way back to 168.33, where we could bottom out through the rest of the year and possibly well into next. Working our way down, I'm going to look at a couple of charts here. This is kind of near term, 182 even, nothing more than a simple trend line off the lows that we nearly tested on Wednesday, can contain intraday weakness, and above which that 184.28 speed line is in reach, and I can show better probably right here. So 182 even, able to contain intraday weakness, above which 184.28 in reach. If we break 182 even, expect 179.07, and that is a rising 2/3 speed line that it takes into account that low from middle August against that recent high from just a couple of days ago at 189.98. It can contain session weakness and is a decent day trade level. We might bounce out of here through the balance of the week and, once tested, rally back to the 184.28 speed line within a matter of 1 to 2 days. It would be a settlement today below 179.07. That would be a secondary indication of weakness as we move into next week. And so, as I've been saying, we are heavy through next week below 184.28. If there is a trade to be made and your time horizon is 2 to 3 weeks out, at this juncture, it is being on the short side of the market. Whether you're selling Apple outright at 184.28, or you're reaching for 169 out of the money puts that don't expire for at least a month. You might go a 2 out. That is the play, so long as we're holding below 184.28. And as I mentioned a moment ago, if we settle below 179.07, the 3 to 5 day swing trade sees an opportunity down to 168.33. So if we close today below 179.07, I do think by the end of next week, we will reach what is essentially targeted long-term support at 168.33. It remains a 2 to 3 week objective, holding below 184.28. Now to the upside, if we push or open today back above 184.28, 186.23 is likely where we can top out on an intraday basis. If we push through 186.23, 187.61 is likely where we can top out for the day itself. If we close above 187.61, that pivots the market upward through the rest of the week and into early next, and I'll get to that in a moment. I will, though, as I look at this chart, just mention that merely closing back above 184.28 does neutralize the targeted 168 handle support. That 2 to 3 week sell signal into the 168 even or 168.33 area has been, effectively neutralized. No longer anticipating it. The question then begs, well, are we going to see a rip-roaring rally into later September if we close back above 184.28? And I'm of the mindset of not so fast. What I see, and I mentioned this level a moment ago, that if we push above 184.28, 186.23 is likely, possibly 187.61 intraday, where a daily high can be made. 187.61 is nothing more than the low of the high that was put out on Tuesday. It can contain daily buying pressures. As I said, closing above 184.28 neutralizes the 2 to 3 week sell signal down to 168.33. And with that, I do think that if we close above 184.28, that's a good 3 to 5 day buy signal up to this 192.34 formation. Now, there are other things going on up there as well. You're familiar with 191.65. I've reduced this to a minor point only. The way I see this playing out is if we close above 184.28, 192.34 becomes a 3 to 5 day target. It is rising at a pretty good pace. And if we close today above 187.61, we should see 192.34 tomorrow, Friday, where we can top out into next week, fall off again. At this point in time, in terms of a go with, aggressive, accelerated upside buy signal as we move through the rest of September, it is a settlement above 192.34. This is a dynamic approach to following through on upward continuation. When I say aggressive, I mean because it is based on Wednesday's low. And if we break to a new low, let's say today, then we recalibrate the 192.34 formation. But if we come off of this area, close above 184.28, this is a rising channel top that becomes our 3 to 5 day objective. So in terms of the 2 to 3 week scenario, I'm going to go back to this. Holding below 184.28, a 2 to 3 week downside objective at 168.33. If we close above 184.28, then we have a 3 to 5 day buy signal up to 192.34, where a weekly high can be made and we can fall off from here. It would be a settlement above 192.34 that signals probably 2 to 3 weeks bullish continuation to this 208.93 channel top, where we can top out on a monthly basis. So once again, in terms of trend dynamics, heavy below 184.28, expecting 168.33 over the next 2 to 3 weeks. The 2 to 3 week time frame turns aggressively bullish if we can close above 192.34 over the next week or so. Then expecting 208.93 within 2 to 3 weeks. In between 184.28 and 192.34 is this sort of no man's land of 2 to 3 week trend dynamics. The 2 to 3 week time horizon, the inclination for the market to move in a particular direction over 2 to 3 weeks is sort of freeze frame and plays out inside of 184.28 to 192.34 as a 3 to 5 day swing trade dynamic, but not 2 to 3 weeks. 2 to 3 weeks, bearish below 184.28, bullish above 192.34, and that's about as simple as I can make it right now. And I'm just going to leave it at that. 9.5 minutes into it. Please click like, share, subscribe. Check out wickedstocks.com. Take advantage of that 5-day free trial and the recent IBM stock pick. I'll be back tomorrow with Fridays. You have a great day.